ओ श्री गणेशाय नमः। श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अन्तर्यश्च बहिर्विधूततिमिरं ज्योतिर्मयं शाश्वतं स्थानं प्राप्य विराजते विनमताम् अज्ञानमुन्मूलयन्। पश्यन् विश्वमपीदमुल्लसति यो विश्वस्य पारे परः तस्मै श्रीरमणाय लोकगुरवे शोकस्य हन्त्रे नमः। We are seeing the text called as Upadesh Saar, a small text composed by Bhagwan Shri Ramana Maharshi. Before we proceed into the text, let's go through all its verses. कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलं कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडं कृतिमहो दधौ पतनकारणं फलमशाश्वतं गतिनिरोधकम् ईश्वरार्पितं नेच्छया कृतं चित्तशोधकं मुक्तिसाधकं कायवाङ्मनः कार्यमुत्तमं पूजनं जपश्चिन्तनं क्रमात् जगत ईषधीयुक्तसेवनम् अष्टमूर्तिभृद्देवपूजनम् उत्तमस्तवादुच्चमन्दतः चित्तजं जप ध्यानमुत्तमम् आज्यधारया स्रोतसा समं सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परम् भेदभावनात् सोऽहमित्यसौ भावनाभिदा पावनीमता भावशून्यसद्भावसुस्थितिः भावनाबलात् भक्तिरुत्तमा हृत्स्थले मनः स्वस्थता क्रिया भक्तियोगबोधास्य निश्चितम् वायुरोधना लीयते मनः जालपक्षिवद्रोधसाधनं चित्तवायवश्चित्क्रियायुताः शाखयोर्द्वयी शक्तिमूलका लयविनाशने उभयरोधने लयगतं पुनर्भवति नो मृतं प्राणबन्धनाल्लीनमानसम् एकचिन्तनान्नाशमेत्यदः नष्टमानसोत्कृष्टयोगिनः कृत्यमस्ति किं स्वस्थितिं यतः दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः चित्वदर्शनं तत्त्वदर्शनम् मानसन्तु किं मार्गणे कृते नैव मानसं मार्ग आर्जवात् वृत्तयस्त्वहं वृत्तिमाश्रिताः वृत्तयो मनो विध्यहं मनः अहमयं कुतो भवति चिन्वतः अयि पतत्यहं निजविचारणम् अहमिनाशभाज्यहमहन्तया स्फुरति हृत्स्वयं परमपूर्णसत् इदमहं पदाभिख्यमन्वहम् अहमिलीनकेऽप्यलयसत्तया विग्रहेन्द्रिय प्राणधीतमः नाहमेकसत्तज्जडं ह्यसत् सत्त्वभासिका चित्क्ववेतरा सत्तया हि चेच्चित्तया ह्यहम् ईशजीवयोर्वेषधीभिदा सत्स्वभावतो वस्तु केवलम् वेषहानतः स्वात्मदर्शनम् ईशदर्शनम् स्वात्मरूपतः आत्मसंस्थितिः स्वात्मदर्शनम् आत्मनिर्द्वयादात्मनिष्ठता ज्ञानवर्जिता ज्ञानहीनचित् ज्ञानमस्ति किं ज्ञातुमन्तरम् किं स्वरूपमीत्यात्मदर्शने अव्यया भवा पूर्णचित्सुखम् बन्धमुक्त्यतीतं परं सुखम् विन्दतीह जीवस्तु दैविकः अहमपेतकं निजविभानकं महदिदन्तपो रमणवागियम् अहमपेतकं निजविभानकं महदिदन्तपो रमणवागियम् अहमपेतकं निजविभानकं महदिदन्तपो रमणवागियम्. So Ramana Maharshi was explaining about Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge. The path of knowledge primarily asks us to inquire into the nature of that self, what it is. And in that inquiry, we asked, what is mind? And with that inquiry, starting with what mind is, we ended up with intellect, that aham vritti, ahankara, the ego, and then its nature, which is Atma, the Chaitanya, the true self, which is pure awareness, consciousness principle. And this knowledge, this alone is the vision of Ishvara, Ishvara Darshana. What is Isha Darshana? Isha Darshana is nothing but knowing the self in me is the self of all. Knowing that oneness between Jiva and Brahma, and the Brahmatva is everywhere. In other words, I am Brahman. And just because I am Brahman, everyone else is not Brahman. It's not right. As I am Brahman, so everyone is. So seeing Brahman within me, that knowing Brahman as our own true self, and also knowing everyone is Brahman in Shastra. Otherwise it is known as Aham Brahmasmi and Sarvam Khaluidam Brahma. Why is it required? Of course, we are going to do similar inquiry, but it is important to understand that without my ahankara, without this idea, I am this body, etc., I am Brahman, knowledge is not possible. Otherwise, what happens is, we say, I am Brahman, and everyone else, they are Jiva. They don't understand that I am Brahman. This is what our knowledge, understanding carries. We have half-baked knowledge. We don't fully realize the nature of our own true self, and that's why we say, I am Brahman, but everyone else, they are existing. That's not possible. Let's take an example. We say, yes, I am Brahman. At the same time, we also say that some fellow, some person, he troubled me. He was the cause of my sorrow. He said me such and such things. Doesn't he understand that I am Brahman? He should respect me. What happened? Where did your Brahmatva go? If one says that he is Brahman or I am Brahman, if I say I am Brahman, then this raga, dvesha, this anger, they should not affect me. And if they affect me, that means I am not Brahman. Why did this happen? Even though I have done the enquiry into my own true nature, my own true self, I have not conducted the same enquiry into the world. That's why I have considered myself, I know myself to be Brahman, keeping my ego, ahankara, intact. And if I keep that ahankara, ego intact, then the Jagat will be as real as it is even when I am ajnani, when I consider myself jnani. So even though when I am saying I am Brahman, I am still ignorant. This should not happen. That's why inquiry into the world and its true nature is also necessary, so that knowing everything is Brahman and that Brahman I am is important, and that will be understood. That's why we said Veshahanataha. How this will happen? Veshahanataha. Because when I say I am Brahman but Ishvara is there, false. There is something wrong. I am Jiva and he is Ishvara. How can we be one? If such question arises, the answer is given. The differences are on account of Upadhi, the conditioning. Conditioning associated with Upahita, condition. The blue color or the red color appearing in crystal. A crystal which is transparent, which has been kept on red colored or blue colored cloth or flowers. Now that crystal is appearing red colored or blue colored. Is that the color of that crystal? No. Yet the crystal appears blue or red in color because of the association with flowers. That's why those flowers, they become the conditioning for crystal. And when they become conditioning for crystal, when flowers become conditioning for crystal, the qualities of flower are also superimposed. They are not actually transferred. There is no actual transfer, but they are superimposed. They appear in crystal. What has happened? The qualities of flowers which are acting as conditioning for crystal, those qualities of those flowers are superimposed on, they are appearing in that transparent crystal. That's why even without changing its own color, the crystal which is transparent is appearing colored. Same thing happens in case of Jiva or Ishvara. Inherently, by true nature, they both are nothing but Brahman. Same pure existence consciousness principle. Why same? One and only pure existence consciousness principle. But because of ignorance and upadhi, maya or avidya, the qualities of maya. What are the qualities of maya? Trigunatmika, three guna. Sattva guna, rajo guna, tamo guna. Primarily these three qualities. Those are superimposed. There is no actual transfer. What do you mean by actual transfer? I will come to that point later. They are superimposed on and when they are superimposed, depending on the nature of superimposition, whatever that is appearing will be called as Ishvara or Jiva. Let's come down. Let's understand what is transfer and what is appearance, so that this topic will be clear and we can move further. Let's say I have yellow color, yellow dye. I have a yellow dye. Why change it to yellow? Let's keep red dye. Let's keep color same in example. I have a red colored dye and I dip a white colored cloth in that dye. When I pull that cloth out, what will be the color of that cloth? Of course, the cloth is going to be red in color. Now, can that red color of that cloth go away? No. The red color of that cloth is not going to go away. Why is it not going to go away? The red color of that cloth is not going to go away. Why is it not going to go away? Because that red color has been transferred in reality on that white cloth. The red color has been transferred in reality on that white cloth. So, because the color has been transferred in reality, actually, what has happened is cloth has become red in color. This is transfer, where cloth and the red color, they both have same level of reality. Now, let's take the example of crystal and flower. The crystal is colorless. Flowers are red in color. When they come in contact, or let's take the same example, if I dip that crystal in red colored dye and pull it out, what is the color that is going to appear on crystal? Of course, red. But does that mean that crystal had changed its color? No. You wash it off, that color is going to go away. That is not going to stay permanently there. That is the nature of that crystal. Otherwise, that crystal is going to be fake. The color is not going to stay on that crystal. So, when that crystal is in that dye, that crystal is going to appear red. That's why we say it's appearing red. No actual transfer of qualities has taken place. The redness of dye has not been permanently transferred on that crystal. It's just due to their close proximity. In the same way, Chaitanya, on account of ignorance, when it comes in close proximity of Maya or ignorance itself, same Chaitanya is going to appear as Ishvara and Jiva. Why two different things? Because one and the same thing on account of ignorance can appear as different entities. Let's take an example. Now, there is a rope lying on the ground. There is a rope lying on the ground. Now, for someone, that rope may appear as snake. For someone, it may appear as crack in earth. For someone, it may be garland. For someone, it may be broken stick. Anything is possible. Any superimposition is possible. Let's take another example. White light, when passed through prism or the rainbow. If rainbow, is it real? No. Rainbow is an appearance. You have to accept that. Why is it not real? If had it been real, everybody would have seen that. If rainbow was really there, everybody would have seen that. But that's not how it is. Okay? Now, rainbow is an appearance. White light has passed through that prism, that water droplets, and rainbow is appearing. That scientific background we already are aware. My point is that same white light is appearing as all those different shades, those different spectrum, starting from violet, vibgyor to red. Red, violet, orange, yellow, green, blue. Are they not? All those are appearances of which original color? That same white light. In the same way, many things can be superimposed. Appearances can be many for one and the same thing. In the same way, Jiva and Ishvara are two different appearances, two different superimpositions on one and the same Brahman on account of different upadhi, different superimposition of different qualities. Take away that superimposition, Veshahanataha, oneness will be revealed. Veshahanataha Swatmadarshanam. And that alone is the vision of Ishvara. Seeing Ishvara in its true nature as the self of all and self of me alone is knowledge, the darshana of Ishvara, vision of Ishvara. Now further, what is the vision of the self? Atma darshana. Abiding in that knowledge that I am Brahman, Atma samsthiti, never wavering, never going away from this knowledge is Atma samsthiti. That alone is Swatma darshanam. And when we are abiding in our own true self, that alone is the abidance in our non-dual Atma Swarupa. Because the self is non-dual, advaya, the abidance in self, abidance in one's own true nature alone is the vision of the self. Here we have to understand this vision is not going to be as Dvaita, as we are seeing each other, as I am seeing the objects outside different from me. No, it is going to be seeing myself by me as me. There won't be any triputi. There won't be any triputi. Now, like self-realization, Atma Jnana, Atma Anubhava, Aparoksha Atma Anubhava, Atma Jnana, self-knowledge also needs explanation. That also we need to know. Now, how do knowledge takes place? Let's just quickly go through. Knowledge of any object is gained as a thought with the help of our intellect. So, when I say I am seeing this book, when I say I am seeing this book, my thoughts become like exact replica of this book in my mind, as though the thoughts become exact replica of this book, and when that happens, knowledge of this book takes place. That's why so many things are going through this small hole which is in my eye. Why? Because all the light is going in. Yet, a part of it is recognized and that alone is known. That's why the object, even though is in front of us, most of the time we don't see that object. Why do we not see that object? We don't see that object because the knowledge of that object has taken place. How can you say so? It's in front of you. It's in front of your own eyes. Even though it's in front of my own eyes, being in front of my eyes does not mean I know that thing. Only when thought conforming to that object has taken place, only when the thought conforming to that object has taken place, then alone the knowledge of that object takes place. Then, what about self-knowledge? Yes, self-knowledge is going to be the knowledge of self like any other thing. But it is also true, it's not that simple. The knowledge of self cannot take place by intellect. It is beyond our intellect. Then how can knowledge of the self take place? How self-knowledge is gained? By what means self-knowledge is gained? Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi ji is answering. 27th verse. ज्ञानवर्जिता ज्ञानहीनचित् ज्ञानमस्ति किं ज्ञातुमन्तरम्. Very simply he says, jnana vritti, jnana varjita, jnana vritti varjita, devoid of the thought of knowledge. Ajnana hina chit, ajnana vritti, ajnana hina, ajnana vritti hina chit, chaitanya, the consciousness which is devoid of ignorance thought, ajnana vritti. Jnanam asti kim, jnanam, any other knowledge, asti kim, is there. Jnatum antaram, jnatum, to know the self, antaram, other than the self. Many things you have to put in here. Understand, let me simplify the meaning. Jnana varjita, jnana vritti varjita, ajnana vritti hina chit, jnanam, asti kim, is there, jnatum, to know, antaram, other than. The consciousness is devoid of the thought of knowledge. Knowledge as in knowledge of objects, as object thoughts, and the thought of ignorance, of ajnana. Is there a knowledge? Is there any knowledge which is other than the consciousness, the pure consciousness principle to know the self? This is more confusing. No, it is simple. Simply understand it in this way. There is no ignorance at all. There is no ignorance at all. So, you cannot say, I don't know. At the same time, you cannot say, I know, as we talk about, I know this book. What do you mean? Simple. Atma alone, the self alone is knowledge. Is this much clear? Let's proceed further. This is just the Pratijna statement. Atma alone, the self alone is knowledge. Why? It is pure consciousness, knowledge principle. When we know Brahman, what's happening is, as a vritti, a thought, conforming to the object which is known. For example, this book takes place, that thought is going to stay as different from me. So I will be a knower. Thought conforming to this book will be the knowledge thought, and knowledge that this is a book will take place. Why? Because I am using my eyes. But what happens is, in case of Brahman, when through jnanabhyasa, through shravana primarily, and for removing doubts. When I have done enough manana and chintana and I have gained sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, I have improved upon my capacity, my sadhana chatushtaya through manana and nididhyasana. When Mahavakya Vichara takes place, what happens is my mind, my thoughts, they become the exact replica of pure consciousness principle. How can they become the exact replica of pure consciousness principle? Theoretically, they do. Actually, they do. But the thing is, when they become the exact replica of Brahman, the Brahman has no particular form, no shape, no conditioning. If such is the case, if I am Brahman, the vritti, the thought modification which has taken place, is the exact replica of me. The thought modification which has taken place is the exact replica of me, myself. Then, can that stay different from me? No. It cannot stay different from me. And it will lose its independent existence. The knowledge thought is going to lose its independent existence, and when it loses its independent existence, can we say I know, as we said, I know this book? No, no more. Why? Because the knowledge thought itself has dissolved. Knowledge thought, the knowledge thought of Brahman itself has dissolved. It has undergone laya. Where did it undergo laya? In its swarupa, which is Brahman. Now there is no knowledge, jnana, vritti. And because there is no jnana, vritti, respective to that jnana, vritti, knowing, the knower, respective to that jnana, vritti, knowing, knower, can he be there? No. If there is nothing to be known, how can knower be there? But in this case, whatever that is being known is knower itself. Whatever that is being known is knower itself. Therefore, knower cannot say in that particular moment, I am knower and I am knowing myself. Not possible. But can he also say, I don't know? That also is not possible. To say I don't know myself or I don't know part, just take don't know part, we will need ignorance. But ajnana is not there, because knowledge, jnana, has taken place thanks to jnana vritti which was earlier there. Because the ajnana vritti which was earlier there, ignorance has gone away. So ignorance is not there. Ajnana hina chit, consciousness devoid of ignorance. At the same time, jnana varjita, there is no jnana vritti also which was there as in case of knowing book. At that moment, the self that is there, that alone is knowledge. That self alone is knowledge. This is jnana, atma jnana. Now, there is another way of looking at it. Let's simplify. This is from example standpoint. Let's keep this jnana, jnana vritti, etc. everything aside. Let's take example of, again, this book and a lit lamp. Let's take an example of this book and this lit lamp. Now, let me cover this book. Are you able to see this book? No. You cannot see this book. Why? Because it's not in the path of your vision. You cannot see this book. Why? Because it is covered by this cloth. I take away this cloth. Can you see this book? Yes. You can see this book on account of two different things. One is the book itself, which has been uncovered. The book which has been uncovered. And the light which is present in this room. The source of light. The light which is present in this room. Now, for the knowledge of this book, we needed two things: the uncovering process and illumination process. Something was required to illumine this object, and something was required to uncover the object. Now, let's take another example. Let's say, for example, can you see the light or torch which is behind this cloth? No. The torch is lit, but can you see it? No. Let me remove it. Now, is it visible? Yes. You can see the source of light. But in this case, to see this light, did you require any other source of light? No. Even in absence of any light source other than this light in this room, even if no other light was present, in this room, we would have seen this light. Why? Because the light is self-luminous, self-revealing. By light itself we will know that light. Now, let's ask this light from this light standpoint. Can light say, I am illumining myself? Can this source of light figuratively say, I am illumining myself? No. But light can certainly say, I am illumining this book. Light can say, I am illumining this book, but light cannot say, I am illumining myself, because it is its own quality. Illumination. In the same way, for the sake of understanding, for the sake of explanation, we have to say and we have to understand that as for light, self-illumination has taken place. Light has illumined itself without becoming different from itself. Self is known by self as self without becoming an object. Therefore, can it be called knowledge like knowledge of an object? No, it's not knowledge like knowledge of an object, but it's knowledge of subject, its own true self. In that sense, it is jnana vritti hina, jnana varjita, jnana vritti varjita, where no jnana vritti is there. Because as long as jnana vritti is there, triputi is still there. Jnana vritti goes away, merges back into its own swarupa. the merging has taken place. Ajnana hi nachita, because jnana vritti has taken place, no ignorance also is present. Ignorance also is not there. That alone is the self-knowledge. Can there be any other self-knowledge? No. No other self-knowledge can be there. By this, the self-realization takes place. All beings, without exception, all beings without exception, and when we say beings, living or non-living, everything strive for morning till night. Living or non-living, everyone, figuratively. Let's talk about non-living things also. They strive for one and the same thing which we have seen earlier, dukkha nivritti and paramananda prapti. That's why poetically we say the stone out of which an idol has been carved is very lucky. His life has been fulfilled. But let's keep aside all living beings, because we are talking about our own self. I am concerned with myself. What do I want? Whatever that we have, whatever the bucket list that we may have, whatever that may be on our to-do list, in the end, everything ends up with two things, which is only one, but appearing as two different, with two different things. That is dukkha nivritti, atyantika dukkha nivritti. Sorrows should terminate permanently. They should not come back again. And paramananda prapti, gaining of happiness. Atyantika dukkha nivritti, total cessation of sorrows, and paramananda prapti, gaining of happiness. This is the definition of moksha. Now, Ramana Maharshi ji says, 28th verse, किम स्वरूपमीत्यात्मदर्शने अव्यया भवा पूर्णचित् सुखम. Kim Swarupamiti. Kim Swarupamiti. When I inquire, what is my own true nature? What is my nature? When I inquire thus, Atma Darshane, on account of self-realization, when Atma Jnana takes place, Avyaya Bhava Purnachit Sukham. Avyaya, Abhava, Apurna, Chit Sukham, Apuryamana Pratishtham, Samudramapa Pravishanti Yadvata. Apuryamana Avyaya Bhava Purna Chit Sukham. What is said is Avyaya, undecaying, that does not decay. Abhava, unborn. Why? Because anything that is born is going to die. It will end. Apurna, filled to brim, all complete. In Hindi, there is very beautiful word, thasa thas. Thasa thas bhara hua hai. Filled up to its brim. Now, no more there is no more space that we can fit in. I'll give you an example for this later. Apurya, fill up to its brim. Chit Sukham, consciousness, happiness principle. What is Apurna? Simple example. And Imagine or recollect. You are trying to fit flour, any flour, let's say uh, gram flour or rice flour, in um, any box or any bottle. Now you are trying to fit that in. Now when you fill that box, it gets filled up completely. But there is still space. So what you do? You shake it, you tap on it, so that flour settles down. When it settles down, there is space. You pour more flour inside. Tap on it again. Shake it. Again, more space is created. You continue this process till there no more space is available for the flour to go in. Then you try to tap on it with ladle or something. At some places it creates dents. You fill it again, that is, it is now totally filled. No more space is there. Now, physically, according to physics, no two atoms can touch each other. So don't go into that much detail. We are talking from general sense. Understand this example from the example standpoint. Don't try to analyze example scientifically and come to different conclusion somewhere. This is apurna, filled completely, totally filled, all complete. Abhava, unborn. It is not something which has been created. Why? Anything which has been created, anything which is born will die, is going to end. Avyaya, undecaying, which does not decay, which does not undergo kshaya. Such consciousness happiness principle I am. When I inquire into my own true self, I realize that I am undecaying, unborn, all complete, pure consciousness, happiness principle. Why these visheshana, these qualities, why these indicators, avyaya, abhava, etc.? Let's take examples. Any happiness. For the sake of example, let's take the example of eating sweets. Let's say I like laddus or chocolate, bar of chocolate. I really like it. So what do? I eat one whole bar of chocolate. I am happy. I got to enjoy nice chocolate. I continue. But what happens is, as I am eating chocolate, as I am enjoying that chocolate, the level of happiness which I experienced earlier is going to diminish, is going to go away. When I eat second bar of chocolate, possibly I may not experience the same level of happiness which I experienced earlier while I was eating the first bar of chocolate. With the third and fourth bar, it is going to go down more and more. And when I am eating the 45th bar or 50th bar, no more happiness is going to be there. It will be nauseating. We may say I can go on eating chocolates for my whole life, but intermittently. What it means is the happiness which I am experiencing through experience of objects which are different from me, the happiness is going to undergo decay. There is very beautiful statement which simplifies, which explains this phenomena in one bit in one simple sentence. Very beautiful statement. It says, no doubt, no doubt, the artifacts, the antiques, the antiquities, the antiques are priceless. No doubt, antiques are priceless, but the happiness that they bring lasts only for the moment that we get them. Any object which we have been desirous of, which we craved for very long time, we were striving for it for our whole life, let's say. The moment that we get that, when we have paid the price in full, the happiness will last only for the moment that we get that object. Yes, I achieved it. After that, happiness starts diminishing. We may try to relive the experience through memory. Understand? We may try to relive that experience through memory, but that same happiness is not going to come back. Why? It has started decaying. That's why we strive for that similar happiness, similar experience again and again. Why do we strive for similar experience? Because we come to know, we understand, I can increase the quality and quantity of happiness, and I can have better happiness, more. Do you understand? Now, why do I seek more? Because there is more space available. Something more can be gained. And so if something more can be gained, that means it is not all complete, filled up to its brim. And when we say apurna, nothing more can be there. The happiness experienced from objects outside is not apurna. Happiness outside is not apurna. That's why the happiness which I experience from my own true self, by experiencing my own true nature, is apurna. Filled up to its brim, all complete, no more. Chandogya Upanishad very, very beautifully says, Bhumaiva Sukham, that which is infinite, that which is all complete, is Sukha, that alone can be happiness. Why? Alpasya adhika trishna hetutvat. Anything which is alpa, limited, will have desire for more. I have 10,000 rupees. I'll desire for more. 20,000. Ashavadhi kogatah. It is very beautiful Subhashita in Sanskrit. It starts with Nisvo Vashtishatam Shati Dashatam. The one who has no money, he will desire at least I may have 1 rupee. Or now, let's take 100 rupees. The one who has 100 rupees, he says, it would have been better if I had 1,000 rupees. The one who has 1,000 rupees will say, I have 10,000, 1 lakh will say, I should be crores, I may have crores. Other one, he will say, no, I should be a king. The king will say, being king is not enough. I should be the king of all other kings. I should be Samrat. I should be an emperor. Emperor will say, no. Being emperor is not enough. I want to be Indra, the king of all devatas. Indra will say, what's there in being Indra? When I go away, another Indra is going to come. Better I be Shiva or Vishnu or Brahmaji. There is no end to these desires. Why? Limited. Abhava. This happiness is not something which is born. Anything that is born is going to die. That is the rule. If happiness is born, if it is Janya Sukha, happiness, born happiness, it is going to decay, get destroyed. That's why My own true Swarupa, which is pure consciousness, happiness, existence principle, is Apuryamana Machala. Here Ramana Maharshi uses the words Avyaya, Abhava, Apurna, undecaying, indestructible, unborn and uncreated. Apurna, free from limitations, filled up to its brim, free from limitations of time, space, and object. These three limitations alone can be there. It is full and complete. In other words, it is infinite. Such Sukham, bliss, pure happiness principle I am. Now, there is one question. Now, the happiness, the pure consciousness principle, this moksha, etc., whatever that you talk of, do I gain this here or do I have to wait? Is it possible right now I can have that? Or is it like a stopgap arrangement? I may have to wait and later on, after I die, I will experience all this. No. As a Jivan Mukta, as liberated while living, right now, you can have that experience, that knowledge. But what is that liberation? What is that bondage? That explanation here in this world. Ramana Maharshi is going to talk about Jivan Mukta also. Here in this world, there are some rare individuals with divine qualities who gain that Daivi Sampatti, divine qualities, Daivi Sampatti, who gain that supreme happiness which is beyond bondage and liberation. But the explanation for that we will see next time. We will conclude with this text next time, and while we are concluding, we will see the recap of the entire text also. But that we will take next time. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om